Adam Cruz, a 32-year-old software engineer from California, decided to take a trip to Iceland for vacation. He was a big nature lover, the kind of guy who'd rather be lost in the mountains than stuck in the city. So he chose to spend a few days in a tiny, remote village, hidden deep in the Icelandic hills. The place was so isolated that it barely counted as a village. Just a handful of old houses, surrounded by giant trees and ancient stone walls. Hardly anyone knew it existed. Adam had stumbled upon it by accident. When he got there and stepped into the old house he'd rented, he immediately felt strange. Everything seemed calm, sure, but there was something off about the place. The house sat right on the edge of the village, near a thick forest. That first night, all he could hear was the wind and the rustling trees. But after midnight, weird things started happening. Shadows flickered in the corners. The kind you swear you saw, but can't prove, were ever there. Adam told himself it was just his imagination, maybe nerves from being so far away from civilization. Then came the sounds. At first it was just scratching, faint, distant. But soon, the noise turned into deep, whispering voices, sharp and cold, unlike anything human. The next day, while wandering through the snowy forest, Adam noticed huge footprints, way too big to belong to any person. Beneath an old tree, he found a strange symbol carved into the ground, a circle tangled with crossing lines, like some kind of ancient mark. That's when he knew something was seriously wrong. Curiosity got the better of him, and he decided to follow the symbol's trail, to find out what was really hiding in that forest. That night, things got worse. Shadows moved between the trees, tall, fast, and gone in an instant. Sitting by the fire under a starry sky, Adam suddenly heard laughter, loud, twisted laughter, echoing from the woods. Before he could react, a huge, dark figure rushed past him. Terrified, he ran back to the house and locked every door. But even there, he could hear heavy footsteps outside, and deep, slow breathing just beyond the walls. Panicked, Adam went to see the village priest. The next morning, an old, sad-looking man named Igor, who spent most of his days alone in the church. Igor told him the awful truth. The village had been built on top of an ancient temple, a place once used for dark rituals and the worship of demons. The villagers thought the evil had faded long ago. But Igor knew better. He said the shadows still lived in the forest, waiting. He warned Adam never to go into the woods at night. That's when the dark forces were strongest, pulling people into the darkness. But Adam, driven by fear and curiosity, couldn't resist. He needed to know what was out there. That night, he went into the forest. The deeper he walked, the darker it got. Each step crunched on the frozen ground, echoing through the still air. Eventually, he came upon a wide circle of old stones, just like Igor had described. In the middle stood a huge, black statue of a demon, and then it moved. Adam realized the thing he'd seen before. That shadow in the forest wasn't just a vision. It was him, the demon, trapped there for centuries. And now it wanted Adam. It wanted to pull him into the circle and give him its dark power. Adam felt his soul slipping away, his body growing cold. The only thing left to do was fight to run. He struggled to break free, but the more he fought, the closer the dark figures crept. The demon's breathing grew louder, heavier. The stone circle began to shift and tremble under the moonlight. Finally, with a burst of terror and strength, Adam tore himself loose and ran. Behind him, the forest roared with laughter, the demon's laughter, echoing through the night. When Adam finally reached his house, he realized something horrifying. The demon wasn't gone. It was still out there, watching him, waiting. He left the village the next morning, but even now, that laughter still haunts his mind. And maybe it always will.